people do want to go eat. I want to go eat dinner. Oh wait, this might. There we go. This. Is that good? Yes. Actually, yeah, I will. Are we streaming at the moment? We are. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Let me just quickly take stock here. About a little more than half of you guys, I recognize and I know. Unless I've hit my head once too many times in the bobsled this year, the other half I do not know, which is a great indication of where we might land tomorrow, if we have so many new faces. For those of you who have been here on Rosh Hashanah before with the community in the last 7 years, and you know things really don't change and haven't changed for the last couple thousand years. So feel free to tune me out if you have been here. If you have not, if you're new, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur follow a sort of cadence. As with most Jewish holidays and Jewish observances, the holidays follow a sort of a melodic and rhythmic maneuvering or schedule. And what that means is that things come and go in ways that seem repetitive and in ways in which you can replicate our past actions, behaviors, prayers, and tunes. And so there will be a number of times over the next 10 days in which things will be easily replicable. And for those parts of the service which are replicable, I like to get the community involved a little more because they're the ones that our brains and our souls can more easily latch on to. So there will be tunes tonight, tomorrow, Yom Kippur night, that I like to invite the community to join in. Rosh Hashanah evening and other behaviors to look out for which are repetitive. On the there's a concept of tircha d'tzibor, which is my favorite concept in all of Judaism. It's basically a breeze through it card. It is against Jewish value to create an inconvenience to a congregation, and what that ultimately ends up meaning, on a practical sense, is that there will not be any we'll call it super extraneous chazanos or melodies at night or even during the daytime, to the extent that chazanos, which is the Hebrew word for basically being a chazan, is employed. It will be employed in a way to try to get people involved, but not to keep them in synagogue, right? Keeping people in synagogue. The focal point of Jewish life is not the synagogue. It is most unlike other religions, where other religions, the house of worship is the central focal point for which the community gathers, right? It's like when people came to this country, they would set up churches, and then the communities would grow around the church, right? Judaism is very much the opposite. We don't want people in shul. We want people at home with their families and with their communities. That's the focal point of Judaism. It's the family and the community. So tonight, I'll say a few words, we'll breeze through, but ultimately the point is not a sing-along, right? This is we feel and we're happy to be here with each other. It's an amazing year ahead for us. Just looking, just before we start, and I know that we do want to get through, the tunes for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, those who have been here, you know them well. Again, it's rhythmic and melodic, and they repeat. For those who are new, there are a few tunes which are specific to the various parts of the year. There's the Shabbos tune, which if you visit, let's say, like a modern Orthodox synagogue, like there's the Shabbos tune at Mincha. That tune is very specific to Shabbos Mincha. There is a specific tune that is sung on the high holidays, which will start this evening. That is specific only to these holidays and is as much a part of the liturgy itself as the words. And so there will be, and so that's why there is a small element, at least, of chazanos. I don't mean to poo-poo it. We still have to employ and stick to the melody because that is a hallmark of the day. And it's something that people connect to throughout the generations, and it brings them back to where they used to be in shul when they were kids. But it is important to note that this melody will be employed and we'll stick to it. Even if it seems like we're breezing through, we'll breeze through in the melody, right? So if you ever hear the breezing through, it'll still be done in somewhat of the melody, or we'll still employ the melody. Other things to note on the high holidays time period. When it comes to Marv, let's go to Marv because that's what we're going to start with. So the Marvs, each of the Kaddishes, or the Kaddishes have their own tunes as well. So I'm not going to yeah.
I just want to make sure we're on the right page.
Oh, good, yeah, page 23.
Barco?
Yes. So I'm not going to spoil the melodies first for the Kaddishes, but for those of you who know this service very well, the one in which is somber, there's a more somber one before entering the silent Amida, and there's a very joyous one when we finish a prayer service. That's the dum bum bum ba da 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 da. I invite everyone to participate to the best of their ability during those Kaddishes. The other thing to note is tonight on Rosh Hashanah we still do say the Baruch Shem silently in the Shema. That will be said aloud on Yom Kippur in just over a week, but we still say that silently. The rest is pretty boilerplate for a Mariv. I will leave just with one primary message. Rosh Hashanah is about one primary aspect and a couple of secondary aspects. The primary aspect is the crowning of God, right? Kabbalas Ol Malchus Shamayim is the acceptance of God as our King. And so this holiday is not a holiday of atonement. That comes in over a week. This is a holiday of pure joy, right? And so we don't say, I'm a jerk, I did this, I did that. This is a holiday in which if you're joyous, if you're happy, if you're just like, I'm really glad that I'm a Jew, that is the essence of Rosh Hashanah. Right, we should be feeling really uplifted and really happy on today of all days, and that's why in the Amida, the words that have been changed in the standard Amida is it accentuates the words Melech or Malchut, which is kingdom and king, right? Because God is being accepted or affirmed as our king. The second, I guess, the subgenre of Rosh Hashanah is hope. And I'll speak about this in an actual short 3-minute sermon tomorrow. But hope, anything which involves struggle, is a push against the inertia of life, right? Meaning, if we find struggle, we have not resigned ourselves. We have an idea that there is something better to aspire to become. And think of us where we were a year ago. We had no concept of 10-7. We had no concept of what was going to happen in this past year. We are much stronger versions of ourselves, much more secure versions of ourselves, much better versions of ourselves than we even probably thought possible a year ago, right? Rosh Hashanah is all about hope. It's all about the potential that we have to grow into the people that we want to be. So as we head into tonight, as you go home, give yourself an extra serving of honey on your challah because we've knocked off some baddies in the last couple weeks. Or Israel has, good on them. But also just as a congratulations for if you are in shul tonight, that is just Jews would not have had that opportunity in generations past to be in a situation of such a global threat towards Jews, and then to be able to still walk to shul on a Rosh Hashanah night. It just has never happened in our people's history that we could do that. It's very special. Think of my grandparents who perished, or my grandparents' families who perished during the Holocaust. And it's just amazing that we're able to do this. So we'll start on page 23 with the Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay. Baruch Hu es Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Elam Voed. Umavir Yom, Umevi Laila, Umavdil Ben Yom Veimayla, Adonai Tzo Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Elam Voed, Baruch Atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. Kim Chayeinu Ve'arech Yameinu Uvahib Negeh Yomam V'Alayla Ve'avasecha Al Tasir Imenu Ve'olamim Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta es Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, b'chol nafshecha, b'chol meodecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha yom, al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veisecha, u'leftecha b'derech, u'v'shachbecha v'kumecha, u'kshartam le'os al yadecha, v'yutotafos v'ninecha, u'chsavtam al mezuzos v'eisecha, u'visharecha. Adonai Elechem Emes. Umalchus Obeatzon Kiblu Aleim Moshe Bnei Sachonu Shira V'simcha Rabba V'amru Chulam Mi chamocha v'lim Adonai Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh Nasios Asef Eleh Malchusecha Robanecha Bokei Hayam Lifnei Moshe Zeili Anu V'amru Adonai Yimloch Elam Voed V'ne'emar
Kifad Adonai es Yaakov, Ugelo Miyad Chazak Mimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Goal Yisrael. Ushmor Teiseinu, Uvoenu, L'chaim Shalom, Ve'atav Yad Olam, Ufros Aleinu, Sukkah Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haparei Sukkah Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Tiku b'chodesh shofar hakesel yom chagenu ki chog Yisrael hu mishpat Yaakov Yiskadel v'yiskadesh shemech rabah B'yom divrachusei v'yamlech malchusei b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beis Yisrael b'agol zakarim v'imru amen Heishmei Rabba mevarach le'olam le'omei omaya Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yispar v'yisrama v'yisnasei v'yisarar v'yisalav shmei dekusha berichu leila uleila min kol echasa v'shirasa tush bechasa v'nechemasa Damiram Yamav Imru Amen.
For those of you still praying, please continue silently. The next portion will be on page 41. It's the full Kaddish, happy Kaddish, to signify the end of Marav. There will be on page 43 Aleinu. Mourner's Kaddish on page 45 if there is a mourner here, and then followed by on the bottom page 45 LeDavid. After that, there will be Mourner's Kaddish again if there is a mourner present. After that, we are done, and we'll go home and have meals. The tradition tonight when we go home and have meals is to have, actually I'll get to it after davening, not appropriate during davening. But page 41, the Happy Kaddish.
Yiskadel v'yiskadei shmei Rabba v'yolim adivrach erusei v'yamlich machusei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayi lecho beis Yisrael v'agolav iznan karivim eru amenai Yishmei Rabba mevarach le'olam yomei omaya Yisbarach v'yishabach v'yisbar v'yisrama v'yisasei v'yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal Shmei dekudesha berichu leila uleila min kol berchasa v'shirasa tushvachasa v'nechamasa damira me'ama v'imeru ameinai tiskabel selosehon ve'hoson decho beis Yisrael kadamon nishma v'imeru amein Yesh Lamaraba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen Hayayose shalom bimramav Huyase shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
We're on 43.
Aleinu l'shaveach l'adon kol asis gidula liyotzeh breshis shelo asanu kigoyei haratzos velo samanu kishbechos adama shelo samchakeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol amonam Achnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei hamachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu notei shamayim ve'yosed haaretz U'moshav yikara b'shamayim imav U'shlinas u'zah V'gavei meramim Hu Eloheinu Einu demes lakeinu Evezilaso Kakasu b'saraso Ve'atatayam Hashevosa Elavo v'cha Ki Adonai Hu Elohim Bashamayim Imal V'al haaretz Mitachaseinu. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai Lamelech al koretz Vayom ha'u Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad.
Anyone say Kaddish?
Then we'll continue, page 45, LeDavid.
The David is from 45.
Kavel mei chazak v'yamitzilecha v'kavel Adonai.
Okay, so quickly note. First, while we are here and talking about Aleinu has extra special meaning, I think, for all of us going forward. Aleinu is at the very end of the davening. I've noted this in years past, but I feel like it really hits home extra this year. The Romans, the Greeks, others who historically tried to interrupt Jewish observance and practice, they believed that the height of spirituality and the height of the prayer service was the Amidah. And so they would come in to the synagogues around the Amidah and they would try to proselytize and they would try to convert Jews into becoming non-Jews. And they would leave after the Amidah. The Aleinu is a declaration of our faith that comes after the Amidah as a rebuttal to those sorts of efforts. And so there is a line. So there's a line that many non-modern Orthodox or non-Orthodox communities skip over of Shehem Mishtachavim because it's considered to be like Shehem Mishtachavim Lehevel Varik is literally translated to for they bow down to basically worthlessness and spit and talk to a God which doesn't answer. That has traditionally been cut out. I actually mutter it under my breath. I do keep it as part because it's not speaking in these instances about Gentiles. It's speaking about the sorts of people who have tried to be wiping our people off the map for the last year. The Aleinu is particularly poignant and powerful for us to remember that spirituality and Judaism is actually found in the identity of Jews rather than just the practice, right? Because the mistaken belief that Judaism only stems from the practice of Judaism is what leads to the mistaken belief that the Amidah was the time. Aleinu is simply about us being, right? That God exists and that we are God's children and people. So it's something that I don't know if it speaks to you throughout the rest of your prayers going forward, but Aleinu is a good one. Going forward to home, you guys should all feel free to sit if you'd like. Tonight we say Kiddush. There is it's not Friday night. So if you open up a Siddur and there is the Kiddush, you are looking not for the Friday night Kiddush, you are looking for the holidays Kiddush. The holidays Kiddush for the high holidays, for Rosh Hashanah, essentially mirrors the other holidays, except each of the holiday Kiddushes have their own little insertion for whichever particular day it is. So in the books that we have, the Berenbaum books, that would be on page 49. So if you go home tonight, you're skipping the part which says Yom HaShishi. You're skipping all of that Friday night stuff, right? That's important. And you're starting with the Savri Maranan, and that's just the part of the service which deals with the holidays. You'll notice that in the Berenbaum on page 49, Yom HaZikaron has on line 1, 2, 3, 4, the end of the fourth line, where it says Es Yom HaZikaron Hazeh. That's the thing that's swapped in. So it's basically like a form letter that we have for every one of these kiddushes for the holidays, and they swap in the holiday's name. So tonight it will be by Yom HaZikaron Hazeh. If you cannot find it for whatever reason in your Siddurim, and it happens a lot more often than you think, and you only find the ones for Sukkot and the ones for any of the others, fear not, because it's essentially the same. You just swap Yom HaSukkot Hazeh or Yom whatever it is with Yom HaZikaron Hazeh, and that covers you. There's only one other thing that is specific to it. After Yom HaZikaron Hazeh, it clarifies and it says Yom Truah. So if you could just remember Yom HaZikaron Hazeh, which is the Remembrance Day, Yom Truah, and we can all remember Truah because it's the middle of the blast, right? Truah. And then the rest just proceeds apace. You do say a Shechianu on the blessings. That's it until tomorrow morning. I promised not to keep you. I have to say this, if you guys are here only for this service, that's why I have to say it, the whole theme of the high holidays is to find a spark, right? I say this every year. You guys can recite it verbatim. It's just about finding literally the moment, right? It's 72 hours that we're at this right now. All you need is like a second out of the 72 hours to do one thing on Rosh Hashanah, which is I accept you, God, as our king. It's basically the obligation. The second is in the next 10 days, we need to find one moment in which we genuinely feel like we want to change. That's it. It's not how much words you say, it's not how many times you come to synagogue, although you should come to synagogue because it keeps the synagogue open. But it is quite literally an internal journey of finding two sparks in your life. One to say, I'm proud I'm a Yid, I'm proud I'm Jewish, which is basically the acceptance of God as your king. I'm proud of who I am, and I want to change and be better. That's it. So if I see you tomorrow, awesome. If I see you the next day, awesome. Otherwise, have a good Rosh Hashanah and Happy New Year.
feel like